Are you looking to play Warrior and finding out, do you know what? I don't know too much information about them. Well, don't look no further, because my name's MrSneakyy and I've been playing free to play completely on my Warrior account specifically to see if it's viable. And guess what? It is the best class and the most Chad-tastic class. If you want to be the meat grinder, you want to be at the front lines of all the Mushroom King's army in the future, this is the class for you. And I'm going to teach you how to play Warrior the best and easiest so you can go from level 1 and climb all the way to level 100 with these easy to follow steps. Hello fellow shroomers, and yes, smash a like, comment and subscribe for more daily videos, because over 90% guys, 90% still is not subscribed. So what you're doing, help me out, hit the red button and let's get this family all together, right? Because we are loving Legends of Mushroom on this channel, and I'm going to show it because this is my free to play account. I've been playing for the last like couple of weeks, and honestly it's been a blast to play, and I'm almost about to hit level 100. I've honestly left the last couple of days slide because I've had another account that I'm going to showcase in a different video, obviously. But we're going to go over Warrior, and honestly if you're looking at playing Warrior, free to play, spender, you name it, it is honestly a very fine class. You can see I've made it so far without any issues, and honestly I haven't had any. It's been such a fun class to play and it's been an amazing. So my guide is going to simply start off with the evolutionary process of Warrior, because when you're looking at Warrior you're probably wondering what should you pick, right? Because the way, if you're wondering, Warriors deal all their damage generally through counter damage. So anytime you get attacked, you're going to be able to basically counter attack that player back and do an insane amount of burst to them, right? It's very, very powerful in PvP, and it's very, very powerful even in PvE. It's just a different way of playing the game, because you do need to take a little bit of damage in order to do that, right? So in order to play Warrior very, very good and not to be a scrub lord, I'm not trying to out anyone here, but if you pick Swordsman, you're already at a disadvantage. Swordsmen are arguably, in my opinion, the worst class in the game. I just do not like this class. I wish they kind of get reworked to be a bit more offensive while, you know, kind of being, you know, what they want to be as this like holy tank. You just don't do damage, guys, and honestly I just don't like Swordsman, right? But when you go through my guide and you pick in the Warrior, you're going to go down the Axe Warrior route, because the Axe Warrior is basically how you turn into a Berserker, Warmonger and Warbringer. And the beautiful thing about this, when we get to level 100, you're going to see all of the passives that we get to our disposal, and it'll make sense with our class, right? Because if we picked Warrior, you guys know you start with that counter 30-30, and you're going to get that 30% defense bonus, right? So that's what you're going to start off with when you pick Warrior in your class. You're going to get that nice bit of extra counter damage dealt from your Conqueror Dance, which is really cool, right? So these are the basics. Once you become an Axe Warrior at level 50, you're going to be able to get counter damage plus 140%. That is insane. Already insane, right? You're going to get such free damage for no reason just by leveling up. So that's one reason why we're taking this class. And then when you hit your level 70, you're going to be able to get Reflect, right? You're going to be able to reflect 80% of basic attacks damage that was hit. Really good. It just allows you to survive and again be a little bit more offensive while still being a tank, which is great. And to finish it off, when you hit level 100, you're going to get the beautiful, every time you lose HP, so basically every 10% of HP lost, you're going to get 3% of attack. So basically you're going to get a total of 27% of attack before dying out there. And this is honestly very, very powerful when it comes to our skills that we'll talk about in a moment. And when you do awaken, I will just showcase, you do become a PvP monster because you have a insane CC whenever you counter your targets during your active skill, you will launch them in the air. So really, really, really good, right? So you can see there is, if you want to check out the swordsman, you can, but you'll see there's a clear difference between them. My advice is go warrior, go axe warrior, and you will not look back once you've gone down the berserker route. So that is basically the beginning part of this lesson that you need to know. And you're probably wondering, why am I saying go down that route? Easily best PvP class in the game and one of the best PvE classes in the game. I'm not gonna lie, I have cleared so much for free, and that's not even because I am dealing the damage. That's because the boss is basically killing itself. That's the best way of putting it, right? So what we're going to do is talk about the skills, because I think the skills is going to make it a lot more understanding when we go from our levels 1 to 100, and then I'll show you the last like end game skills that you're going to be talking about. So the first set of skills that we're going to talk about is the level 1 to 100 progress, right? These are basically all of the skills before you unlock like your reds and pinks, or if you've not unlocked them, right? These are what you're going to have access to for the large majority of the time. And to basically set it up, what your main set bar will look like the majority of the time is like this. And what I have got here is basically a 3-2 setup that is always going to be the same, apart from certain scenarios that I'm going to talk about. So what these skills are, in basically what you're going to be using all the time as a berserker, is your shroom shield, your easy breezy, and your nature's renewal. And the reason why you're going to be using these three in particular is because it honestly promotes the most, best play style for your class. And the reason why it's doing this is because Shroom Shield is giving you a, obviously, 20% max HP shield, which is beautiful for 10 seconds. Yes, if that shield is broken after the before the 10 seconds, obviously it's not going to come back up, which does happen, but it's nice to not take damage, right? We like that. And then on top of this, to not take damage, or from whenever we do take damage, we have Nature Renewal. We get a nice recovery of 30% of our HP within 5 seconds. So it's a nice bit of burst healing. So you can see why we need those two skills as a berserker now, right? We're absorbing damage, and now we're able to deal damage back out. And the third skill that I honestly think you should always have equipped is going to be Easy Breezy, because this is a really fantastic AoE damaging skill, but it's really important to reduce the attack of the targets. Actually doing an attack penalty onto targets is going to allow you to actually clear through levels that you didn't think you would be able to clear. Even if this is at level 1, the debuff is so powerful, you will be able to clear through. I promise you guys, right? So these are the 3 skills I always think you should always have equipped. And then afterwards, the other 2 skills are going to be your 2 best skills. Literally, your best 2 damage dealing skills I would equip onto these 2 slots. And you're going to be running that basically from levels 1 all the way to level 100, right? There is times, I will admit, when you can go a little bit more aggressive, and this is the one other set I want to talk about. So what I kind of do is remove the shield and just rely on this healing. The healing is enough in a lot of case scenarios, and I do just put on the extra bit of damage. So for me, if you want your pals to do more damage, you obviously put on Slime Bomb. But if you want to do more damage in yourself, and you've got a better skill, just put on Coin Bomb, right? This is basic attack damage. It's nice. It's just extra damage overall. And you can run something like this, right? So you keep 2 skills on and you're running 3 more offensive skills. So you can definitely do this in the early game. But if you are struggling against a boss, all you gotta do is quickly just swap out these 2 skills, right? Don't ever, guys, hit the quick equip. Because when you hit the quick equip, you'll see it's going to give me all of my purples. And you'll notice I just won't be able to kill anything because I'm just going to die because I have no survivability. So that's why you don't want to just keep hitting this every single time when you're playing this game, right? So we make sure we've got at least our old setup back on. So now we'll talk about the other skills, right? There's these red and pink skills in the game. And then there's only, to be honest, I think 5 skills for a berserker that you really care about. Maybe I'm wrong and there's a 6th one that someone might, in the comment section educate me on, which would be really nice to know. But the skills that I'm going to talk about first are the two red ones, and this is going to be obviously Disarm. Disarm is just beautiful. Do I have to say why? Disarming targets for 3 seconds just stops them from attacking you. So if they're not attacking you, you're not taking damage. And to be honest, that's actually not too bad in certain scenarios when you're trying to survive, right? Trying to survive and you get a guaranteed 3 seconds over potentially your shield from Shroom Shield being deleted after 1 second is actually more beneficial, right? It's way more beneficial for your account, right? And the next one that we're going to talk about is Wild Gust. I actually really like this one. Again, massive AoE upgrade. In my opinion, you deal a massive amount of AoE damage, but you increase your own attack again, which is very powerful. So all of your skills and just general damage is going to be scaled up a little bit better because you've increased your attack by 15%. So I do like Wild Gust too, and that's pretty much it in the red zone. I think all the other skills generally are better suited to the other classes in the game. But now if we go to the pinks, pinks have 3 skills that I think are going to be the must-haves. I think if you get these skills, you're going to have them equipped at all times, and then you're most likely going to switch out the other 2 skills on your set bar. And those 3 skills are going to start off with Draconic Resonance. This is insane. You do an insane amount of damage followed by a ½ second delay of dealing 2% of that target's maximum damage, maximum HP as damage, which is beautiful. On top of this, you additionally deal 1% extra damage of the target's maximum HP for every 10% of damage resistance you have. And as a Berserker, I will tell you once we get into obviously the gear side of things, you are going to have a ton of damage resist, and this is beautiful because of that. So you're going to get a large payoff of single target damage through this beautiful skill. So I would recommend, if you're able to get it, try and get this skill. But if not, the other 2 skills that I do think are really good for Berserkers is immediately going to be Blade Waltz. Blitz Assault, should I say. This thing is beautiful to replace Nature's or that other skill we just talked about, the Disarm, right? You're going to summon a Golden Lightning dealing over 6k damage basically. It's insane how much damage it is doing and providing you complete damage immunity for 3 seconds. Honestly, this is a very powerful upgrade, and it is going to outperform your Shroom Shield the later in the game you go. Because honestly, the Shroom Shield will delete after 1 or 2 seconds most of the time, compared to this, which guarantees again 3 seconds of pure damage immunity. So I do like Blitz Assault. It's a very powerful skill in the game for you. And if you're looking for more of a damage option, I actually think Blade Pierce. Blade Pierce is a very good damage option. You have a massive amount of damage that you deal to them, but more importantly, you're placing a bleed effect, right? You cause the target to lose 1.5 max HP per second for 5 seconds. So if they do still use any regeneration, you're going to try and basically stop that regeneration from happening, which allows you to deal more damage, right? Because you're basically stopping them from healing. So it's a really, really powerful skill for you guys. So that's all of the skills that I think you're going to need with your warrior. So let's go over the pals and then finally the gear and the main stats you're going to be looking for when we're playing our warrior class. So now let's talk about the pet section, right? Because as you can see through the background, we were stuck, but we just did a little pet change and obviously the skill change like we've been talking about in this video, just to showcase this is what you really do need, right? So the first thing I'm going to talk about with pets, you will always, in my opinion, be running 3 of these pets in the early game, again, no matter what. And then the next 2 pets are going to be anything of your choice, right? So the first 3 pets, as you can imagine, are going to be on the right side. So we're going to go from the Panda. This is giving you the HP regen for your Nature's Renewal and any of your other skills that you've got that might trigger regen. Your Toothpaste boy is OP as hell. He's going to give you 8% counter attack, which is really good. Just giving you an extra 3 counter hits. Why not, right? But then, which is going to actually give you more of a chance of killing and doing stuff. And one of the most underrated pets, I think, in the game, especially for you guys as a Berserker, is this Hydro pet. this giving you 20% active skill energy regen. So what this is actually doing, if you're wondering what it is, you can see all of these bars here, right? All of these bars, these are all going 20% faster. And by doing that, as you can see, I'm happily able to kill through all of this content now, right? Because all of my abilities are coming way more faster. I'm able to deal more damage. I'm able to keep up my counter, which is more important, right? So you definitely want to make sure when it comes to the pets, you keep these 3 on no matter what. I legit want to say this, right? These are just your best 3 pets you will always keep on. Then your other 2 pets, I would just put on your best 2. Legit. Whatever the game thinks is your best 2 pets. This could be something to do with like damage, like attack speed. This one is to do with after activating effects. I'm going to be dealing damage. That's all you need. Legit. 2 DPS based pets that you're going to be happy with, right? However, if there's certain situations you will find yourself in, right? You're going to find yourself in situations where maybe when you're fighting the boss like this snake here, obviously comes to me really fast, and I really don't want it to get to me that fast because it's going to kill me if I don't have, because I don't have the time, right? What you're able to do is actually just remove one of your DPS ones. So what I would actually do is remove this attack speed, because to be honest, me as a berserker, I don't need attack speed. It's really not something I care about. And what you're able to do is remove your DPS pet, and what I would recommend is looking at any of the following pets I'm about to suggest, because all of these pets are good for different reasons. So if you've got them in yellow, you'll see the yellow versions have orange versions too as upgrades. So one of them is going to be the little snow sprite. So this is reducing the enemy's attack speed. This is very powerful. Reducing attack speed means you're not going to basically die as often, and you will be surprised, even though we do want to get attacked. Guys, we don't want to get attacked all the time, right? We want to obviously survive. So this is honestly a really good pet for us and allows us to push through certain bosses. Another one like that is, as you can imagine, the snail. The snail is reducing their speed by 35%. Really good little bit of utility there for certain bosses that you're going to need. And if you honestly feel like you're not surviving enough, why not just stick on Divine Deer, right? Divine Deer is giving you that 12% damage resistance, and that's really good, again, when you're talking about other skills like that Draconic Resonance that we were using. Damage resistance is really good, so we can obviously use this pet. So you have other options that you could put in this 4th slot. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. Obviously, it just showcases there. Here, I've got some, variety of pets for you guys. But that's from levels 1 to 100, right? Now, let's talk about the big boy pets, right? These are the pets that you're going to be looking at. The reds and these, like, bottom ones, right? If you've been able to get the bunny pet from the Easter event, I will say it's not a bad pet. This is actually a really good pet for the DPS choice for your pets. It's a really powerful one. But the ones, again, that we kind of really care about is going to be Kung Fu Master. He's going to need that 40% HP regen. Really powerful. But the best in slot pal that you must get if you're ever able to get it is going to be Rainbow Guardian. He's giving you 10% counter plus 100% extra counter damage on top. So you're doubling up on those effects. So this is definitely one of the must-haves that you need on your Berserker. So definitely aim to grab this boy and obviously the Kung Fu boy. If you're looking for other types of red pets, even again reducing your enemy's attack speed by 15% is fine in this. And the more important ones is actually these last ones, right? These pink pets. The 2 pets I honestly think you need to get if you're able to grab them in the pink category is going to be your Hipster Tortoise. This is beautiful, gaining a HP shield while below 50%. It honestly allows you to remove Shroom Shield. You don't need to use Shroom Shield anymore, and you can use more utility-based stuff like Disarm and that. And it's just going to do its job for you, right? This is going to do Shroom Shield for you, so you don't need to. So I really do like this. It's a really powerful pet for your account. And the best one out of all of them is going to be Electric Pup. When you deploy this bad boy out, it increases your counter damage output by 60% and you restore 1% of your HP lost on counter. So it's really good. You actually get a little bit of healing and a massive amount of counter damage. So those are definitely the pets that you're going to want. So these are your pup. This is your little tortoise boy. Your little Rainbow Guardian for your main 3 pets, and then for your last 2 pets you can pick anything between obviously the Kung Fu Master, your little boy here, and to be honest quite a few. You've got a lot, even the damage resistance, right, which we didn't really talk about in this game, or even reduce movement speed by 40%. So there's quite a lot of pals for you to pick from. So, let's final this up with the gear, the stats, and the relics, right? Because with relics, I'm going to be pretty honest with you. You're going to be using the Ironclad Mask. This is the thing that's going to be obviously the main go-to. It gives you counter percentage so you can trigger it more often, and obviously the main stats. And then, when it comes to all of these other ones, to be honest, you're just going to be using the artifact or relic, shall I say, of the pet that you use the most. So I use a lot of Sprite Pals, so that's the one I've been using at the moment. Later down the line, maybe you're going to be changing out and you use Snails and Hydrospite. This would be a really good one too for you if you want to try this bad boy out. And even when you go into like the purple one, right, you've got the Snow Flake, you've even got the Bunzu Bane for the pandas that you're going to be using. So you can basically use any of these kind of relics depending on what pals you've got, right? When it comes to here, I really do like quite a lot of these bucks, but again, most of these bucks are pretty good. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you get one, it's really nice. I will say the Beast Hide buck is a really good one if you're struggling on killing bosses. You can just equip this during a boss, kill it, and then you can switch it to anything else on here. You can get the attack one's really good. You can get the HP immunity one, which I use, which is really good. So there's quite a lot, guys. There's quite a lot of good extra bucks and even these endgame free relics that you might use. So I don't want to go too in depth on that for now. I'm going to leave that for another day. But you can see those are generally the paths that you want to go down. When it comes to gear, obviously your gear is going to be tailored as much as you can to Counter-Strike. So at the moment, I've lowered my Counter-Strike from 65% to 57.7% because I am trying to technically now grind and get to the pink gear, which I've finally done, and now I'm trying to grind to get purely Counter-Strike gear again. This is going to basically allow you to obviously Counter-Strike more often. So the more Counter-Strike you have, the better. And again, you can get this on a variety of, stuff on your, items. I'm just trying to find one for you so you can see there, 4.89% Counter-Strike on my knee pads. So you can just look for it on gear and make sure your gear has at least Counter-Strike and maybe crit rate, like you can see on here. Really good for your stats. If you don't have that, you basically just want really high defense and Counter-Strike. That's the main 2 things you want on your character. Because with really high defense and really high Counter-Strike, you're basically reducing the damage taken. You're then Counter-Striking more often. And then as you'll see, your Counter-Strike multiplier is insane. It's over 1000% for me, and that's going to allow me to obviously hit them like an absolute truck. And when you kind of press this challenge, it will give you an idea of what we're talking about, right? So you can see I'm hitting them really hard here, but the super hard hits, when you're seeing the crazy 849.9 million hits of the 722 million hits you just saw there, that's only done from Counter-Strikes. That's not me. That's my Counter-Strike damage killing this guy, right? So you can see why it's so powerful to have Counter-Strike in this game and how powerful a free-to-play Berserker actually is, right? So I hope I've helped you guys out with the Berserker / Warrior class. If you're learning to play Warrior, this video was for you. And hopefully you've learned to pick Warrior, pick Berserker, go down the path I've gone down. You know what skills, you know what pals, and you know what relics you're looking for. And now you know your main stat that you're looking for. So as long as you keep it all real, keep it all counter, you're gonna be fine. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Smash like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next one, stay safe, guys, stay sneaky, and peace out.